Alright folks, what's going on? It's Old Soldier coming at you again today. Robeson County, North Carolina, where it is cold, it's wet, followed by some more cold, crappy, and wet. I think when my daughter called this morning and said it snowed a little bit out her way. She's about 25 minutes away from here as a crow flies. And I'm off to meet up with a friend to talk about some stuff. Anyway, like I said, I hope everybody's doing well today, as well as can be expected under another day of communist regime. Yeah, I said it, and I don't care if Joe Biden's people are listening to me. I'm sure I've already been tuned in on, so I don't care. I prefer straight up fight cloak and dagger crap any day of the week. But long story short, today, HR 1. Don't know anything about it, you need to go research it. If you don't know who Dan Bongino is, go check him out. He's a Fox News contributor, but more importantly, he's a patriot. He's former law enforcement, former Secret Service. He was a Secret Service agent under the Clinton administration. He's one that wrote a book on Hillary Clinton's true behavior in the White House. I need to get that one and read it. Because some of the stuff he talks about, he gives snippets. It's just mind-boggling. I say mind-boggling. It goes to show and prove the hypocrisy of the Clintons, especially Hillary. But anyway, folks, HR 1 is basically a bill, and I read through the highlights of it last night. I'm going to try and go back and read it further in depth, but the highlights basically are taking voter registration, voting schedules, voter ID, everything. It's basically removing that power from the states and giving it to the central authority of the federal government. In this case, the communist regime. Now, how's that tied to everything we've been talking about this week? If you go back into the book, The Naked Communist, you read some of the things that Lenin and Marx taught and what Stalin and Khrushchev enforced. It's basically the attempt to go to a one-party dictatorial system. Do not let this bill fool you that it is anything else. It's very important that you pay attention to this and get up with your local representative and tell them not to vote in accordance with that bill. See, because the communists have a slim enough majority in both houses that this could potentially get passed and become law. It's one of the many stovepipe measures that they're going to try and push. Okay? And I know, Old Soldier, but the President Trump is still in charge. If you want to chase that rabbit hole that the Trump administration still has any power, still in charge of anything, you go right ahead. I put a little too much of my own hopes into that, hoping that all this stuff that was being spouted was true. But finally waking up and realizing that, misinformation and propaganda is a ploy of the enemy, and it's definitively a tactic of the communists. Always has been. And it's in place now. So you take that for what you will, what you want. I'm not knocking anybody if they follow Donald Trump. I thought his policies were good and they were doing great things for the nation. Never been a fan of Donald Trump, the man himself. I've said that many times. You can go back and verify that. And I say that to say this, because sadly too many people that followed the conservative movement, the patriotic movement, actually fell in love with Donald Trump, the man, and not the reality of being free. Comparative analysis here. For those that go to church, and you've attended a church for many, many, many years, and all of a sudden the preacher leaves, half the congregation goes with. Well, does that mean those people were there following a man or following God when they left? Because the preacher left. Okay? See, the church is made up of the people. The people are the church. The physical structure is just a building. I can put a tent in my field. As long as I get 3 or more gathered in fellowship in His name, or have church. My point being is that sadly people get caught up in the charismatic leadership of an individual, that they fail to see the principle behind the movement. Okay? Again, I'm not bashing Donald Trump here, folks. I think in many ways with this election he was duped like the rest of us. I think he was, and I'm starting to see this now, not so much when he was president, that he was a lot like Grant, Ulysses S. Grant, when he was elected president. He surrounded himself with a lot of people without really hard vetting. I'll say that again. He surrounded himself by a lot of people without a lot of hard vetting. And you're saying, well, what do you mean? These people had congressional... Yes. A lot of these appointees had to go through congressional hearings. That's the whole part of that game. But internally, there was not strong vetting on a lot of the people that were being appointed to these positions. They were basically political promises based on the fact that they had supported getting him elected. And oh boy, did that serve them well in re-election, when a lot of them just turned tail and run because, honestly, they didn't like his leadership. Okay. One thing I've always said about Donald Trump being president that was good is the fact he's never been a politician. So he brought his business methods in and started shaking trees, and people didn't like it. I think we need more of that in the White House and then in Washington, D.C. I'm always forgetting her name when it's time to talk about it. Like the young lady who's just recently elected to the House of Representatives from Colorado, the one that owns the gun-toting cafe. She is unabashed and unashamed to carry her firearm into the Capitol. Maybe she'll, have to sit next to AOC, and AOC won't show up for an important vote. She's already, because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has already come out and said that the reason she didn't go to the inauguration because she was afraid of Republicans. Again, I don't give a crap about the Republican Party anymore. My point being is that she talks a good game, but when it's all said and done, she's the biggest hypocrite of them all up there right now. She wants one thing for you and I, but it doesn't apply to her. Okay? Remember that. She wants one thing for you and I, but it doesn't apply to her. Which is the typical communist, socialist, Democrat crap that we've been dealing with for well over 50 years in the Democratic Party. It's just now that its ugly head is really starting to rear up. Okay? But again, back to the beginning, kind of get back on track. I know I get on these tangents, forgive me. But H.R. 1, folks, H.R. 1 is, we can't allow that to pass if we can help it. Because if it does, conservative, patriotic voices will no longer be heard in elections, either because they'll be suppressed or, in my case, just disillusioned to the point that my vote won't count worth squat. And that's what they're pushing right now. Notice it's also H.R. 1, House Resolution 1. It's their first top priority. Their first top priority. One of the things in there is same-day voter registration, meaning they can come in, register, and vote the same day, and all they have to do is sign a sheet affirming that they live where they say they live. In other words, they don't have to show any proof. So guess what that means? I can go to this county and vote today, go over to this town over here same day. I can go to all, everything within a driving radius in the course of a day and register and vote in multiple elections and influence them. A lot like the brown shirts did and the black shirts in Italy. Think about it, folks. Think about it. And that's what we're up against. That's what we have to fight back against. That is what we have to push against, folks. And I don't know how to stress it any more than that. That being said, we can get off here and focus on getting to my meeting and try to stay dry today too and warm. Pray for me. I got a job interview. Got a phone call yesterday afternoon from a company in Rayford, North Carolina. Which I was really surprised. I just put in the application, sent my resume the day before. So, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of them. You might have bought some ammo from them, but the company's called Defender Ammunition. So I'm going to interview for a position there today. Maybe I'll get a job, maybe I won't. It's just nice to know you can still be in the game a little bit. So, wish me luck on that one. But until tomorrow, my friends, stay safe, take care, God bless. Stay armed, stay safe, stay vigilant. Old Soldier out.